Moo and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pinktron. I am Brent Robinson, and I'm joined today by, we'll start with John Keenan. John, what are you drinking?
We're out of mushrooms in the Keenan household, so I went to the grocery store and got me some Pocari Sweat.
I don't want to drink sweat. Why?
I know, right? It's
This is
evidently it's wildly popular in Japan as a hydration drink, and I can report it does not taste, or it doesn't have the texture that you associate with the preparation fluid before you have your colonoscopy. So that's a good review. It looks the same. It does not taste like it.
the review just doesn't feel like the thing you drink before you go for your colonoscopy.
Yeah.
John, I don't think you just got hired as their marketing agent. All right. We also heard Sean Fogamer. Sean, what are you drinking?
I realized that I was going to do full boring day and just have water, but realized I could actually smash up some stuff. I made myself a blackberry calamansi smash. That's just blackberry calamansi, some agave nectar and water.
Nice.
Sounds very, very tasty. Yep. And we've also got Steve Pritchard. Steve, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm on the boring weight loss program, so I'm on a peppermint tea.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna skip quick. We'll get to our last other member in a moment, but I do have peppermint tea as well. So that's why I'm just jumping in there.
Oh,
And we've also
friends.
got Steph Etienne. Steph, what are you drinking?
I had a spicy leather race, so I'm having the Thrive Peak Recovery beer.
Oh, well earned, well earned. And speaking of things that involve triple something, we have HWR this week is 3 laps of Outer Scotland. Uh, nobody did race. Did you do race one, John? Oh, Steve did it. And did you do it, John,
Yeah.
too?
No,
No,
no.
no, just Steve. All right, Steve, tell us about how HWR in Outer Scotland when it looked like the field was spicy. I'll start with that. But
I mean, it's weird actually. I've not done that race for a while, and maybe it's a bit the nature of Glasgow as well. The start didn't feel that spicy out of the gate. Like I've done a lot spicier out of the gate Zwift rides, so it's like, oh, okay, we're kind of what they're doing. They're just going to get to the corkscrew and just go nuts there, and then there's that unclassified rise up to the like is champion sprint or so there's a lap back there's an arch there after or in a roundabout and you go through an arch there's that sort of like
Uh,
climb as you go out of Glasgow and some people just went nuts there and the whole most of the bunch just disappeared away from me. I'm like, okay, cool. That's what this race is about. And then yeah, then I pedaled around in some groups and got kicked in the legs a lot. It's like it's Scotland, isn't it? It's one of those races where it's not quite as bad as Yorkshire, but there's several bits where like you just get kicked in the legs a bit. I found the again the slight rise back into the city centre into the Clyde Kicker combo times three was just tough. Like that's people were putting their I didn't find the group that I was slow enough for, if that makes sense. So every time the group I was in would make me suffer, and then I'd really suffer up the kicker. And then you've got a few more lumps around to the lap banner, haven't you? Kind of in that city loop that you don't quite sit on and recover. But yeah, all good fun. It's 600 calories I wouldn't have burnt otherwise. So
I
yeah, I've done
really
that.
do. Oh, go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I've done that course on. It was on introduced last week on Tour de Zwift's 2 laps. But yeah, it's an interesting course. I think it's a nice race course. Basically everything from Scotland except the Skur climb. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to 3 laps. I did it on the ZRL or the Tour de Zwift ride, I guess it was, and it hurt. Like two laps was plenty. I would not have looked forward to an additional lap because there's just every time you
uh,
turn your back, there's another little rise that somebody's gonna go nuts on.
it's kind of what I've noticed with this Scotland route is it's kind of the opposite of Yorkshire in that Um, Yorkshire's just hard, how like whatever group you end up in, because
yeah,
you're either going downhill or pedaling hard in Yorkshire.
Mm.
Whereas with this one, I think if you're the strongest rider in the group, it's a like it's a pretty easy like route, but you probably should have been in a group higher up the field. If you're the weakest rider in the group, as I was, it's hard because there's just bits where people like just tap on the pedals a bit and they can just go a bit harder than you can. So um,
Seems like the climbs are shorter than Yorkshire. Yorkshire just has a lot
Yeah,
longer.
Yeah, and less steep in general. Like a
yeah,
Yeah.
lot. So I feel like a lot of this feels like the like Otley Road climb. You're just kind of doing some sort of like draggy bit, or there's like a really quick punch. Like those are the two kinds of
Mhm.
things that happen in this race, right?
yeah. And for reference for the people that haven't done it, it's basically you start in Glasgow, go out of Glasgow to the left, basically do a loop around Scotland in a clockwise fashion. So you have indeed that riser up to the roundabout near the Scotland outside of City Pens, do the corkscrew castle climb, up Breakaway Bray, back into the city, and you do the Glasgow city circuit at the finish, and basically you do that 3 times for the people that haven't done a Tour de Zwift or this course. So it's essentially the reverse of a rolling Highlands plus Glasgow crit in a sense.
I think the thing about this course is it's impressive that it can always feel uphill.
Yeah.
Like the downhill stretches basically from the lap banner to the bottom of the corkscrew, and then from the breakaway braid banner to get to like the little bypass road that you don't take. And everything else is uphill to flat. And so like those bits are like so much shorter than all those 3%
mm.
grinders
Yeah,
that like it just feels like the whole time you're pedaling uphill. And that patch you talk about, Steve, I've like that patch feels like it takes forever to get to that lap banner, and they just keep going hard. And you're like,
yeah,
just stop, please, for a second. I'm tired now.
I think it's that weird in between gradient as well, isn't it? I think with we say Yorkshire's a bit steeper, like you as it gets steeper, you get closer to threshold. So you're kind of like, right, I know I'm going to have to sit at threshold. I know threshold hurts. I'm going to sit here. But you end up in this weird, like, it's going to be more than thresholds. It's going to be in that red bit. But I don't know how far into the red bit it's going to be. And I don't know how long we're going to be there. So
yeah,
I just find it difficult to pace. And I think definitely with one of the groups, like I just wasn't mentally ready to suffer enough to stick with that group. And I just watched the group go away and thought, probably could have stuck with you for another half. I mean, I've still been dropped by that group and I ended up in the right place, but probably could have stuck with them for a little bit longer. Bike choice. I went with Zwift Insider's recommended Max Aero setup because I don't think there's actually anything that climby. Um,
yeah. Probably go Pinarello disc, something
yeah.
like that.
I can see Max Aero is the fastest, like when they're doing those time tests, but I can see going something later because the parts where it's going to pinch are going to be uphill. But you're talking 5 watt difference or something like that. Like,
It's again, it's that I think I've mentioned before. Like, if the difference in, I do wonder if the difference in making up the Clyde kicker, say a second faster on the Tron than on a full aero thing, and then you're in the draft for the next bit. I don't know, but I don't think it's that pronounced, is it? So
No, there's no way it's a second in a 35, 40-second effort, right? Like,
And
yeah,
if you're
it's
on HWR and racing people with ZRS scores double and triple what yours is, like they're not going to be close enough to make a difference. So,
I did chuckle, John, at one point when I went through the Clyde kicker and saw that I think scorekeeper or whoever got the record who was it gone up it in like sub 25 seconds. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting close to that. Yeah, good fun.
that was like my one time through the Omnium score in the A's was like probably about 25 seconds. And then I got dropped.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll probably give this. We'll talk about the series more, but give HWR and the series tomorrow morning a go.
I was seriously contemplating taking this one as one of my misses, but I think I'll just do it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I've got a ladder tonight, so we'll see if I get in tomorrow. I probably
Mm.
will.
Well,
Do we
has
want
anyone
to?
got the list of, so this is event one of a new series, isn't it? Has anyone got the list of what the 10 stages are
I do.
loaded
I
up?
do.
He says, trying to look for a
Yeah.
browser. That'd be
All
come
right.
fine.
So week 2, Wandering Flats. Week 3, Triple Twist. Week 4, Petite Douleur, which is, I think, is that one public now? Or it might not be able to do that
It,
one yet. It
it
was
will
just,
will it will be public. I think it's one of the next weeks of Tour de Zwift, so probably be
yeah.
public by then.
Week 5, Brent brutally mispronounces Terdringa Fakan. Uh, week 6, London 8. Week 7, Coast to Coast. Oh, I've lost track of it. 7, Coast to Coast. Week 8, Turf and Surf. Week 9, 2019, Harrogate Circuit times 2 in Yorkshire. And week 10, Richmond Loop Around, which
Any of
we've done
those that
before.
anybody's excited about?
What's the loop around? Is that the one where you do the climbs like 3 times and then come back? I forget.
Something like that. We did it
Three
in
laps of cobbled climbs reverse, followed by one lap of the standard UCI Worlds. So
Yeah,
you do, yeah, you do just the climbs in the reverse direction 3 times. You get up
Okay.
to the top, and then you go do the sprints, and then come back and do the climbs forward up to the finish.
Yeah, that looks
That's
fun.
a that's a beast of a race
So
course.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good one to put at the end.
Yeah, I think the
Green
plus side
stage.
to that one is it's going to split up early. I think
Yeah,
Petit is the one that's going to be frankly horrific because you're going to go really hard through the intestines, and but the intestines aren't quite hard enough to like properly split you up into kind of weight. We said that kind of you get in a climb, you get in a group you should be in. Like so that could really hurt. And then you're going to do Petit Com, which is just
and you're
that is
gonna
just
do you're
ridiculous.
gonna do it twice. That combo and
I think
finish on top of Petit KOM. So that's gonna be fun as well. It's gonna be
Don't you
brutal till the
start
end.
don't you start at the top of Petite KOM too? So the whole beginning is that downhill on the
no,
backside?
the lead in is from like Marina Pens
Oh, you
through
got to start in the
intestines
pens for a race.
Yeah,
through
yeah, yeah. The lead
so
in the loop indeed starts on top, but yeah, you have the lead in until through the intestines up the Petit KOM. You do that, and I think it's one lap, so you do one lap of basically a lap and a half of the route. So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I think
yeah,
that might be the hardest route.
mm. And
yeah. Also,
it's that sort of not quite tough enough start to pretty much guarantee that you'll end up in a group that will be probably too hard for you on PTK web if you're doing it right.
yeah. Also, never because I've not been doing ZRL. It's gonna be that unpronounceable Welsh thing is going to be my first, so that's a root badge for me.
Tair
So
Dringfa Vechan,
yeah,
which
I
I
think
did quite
I think
enjoy the when we did that one, and I think that weeks 3, 4, 5, the like triple twist, Petite Douleur, and Tair Dringfa Vechan is like a really fun set of courses back to back to back that like nobody knows well, but are
Mhm.
all and they have interesting climbs that will get you in the place that you should be racing, probably.
Yeah, Triple Twist is going to be a good one with like it's Jarvis early, so you could get you'll probably get sorted. Like honestly, maybe if you're good short and you above your category, you can hang on to a bit of faster wheels. Could be a bit of chasing, and then really the race starts amongst your group when you hit KOM reverse, right? Hilly KOM reverse, and then you're gonna have to, then the race is on because it's only about 7 kilometers, I think, from the back end of Killy KOM reverse to the end. So then it's should all be sorted, and you're going to be if you shake people, they're going to be chasing. You're going to try and hold them off, and then that'll be a fun
Yeah.
go at it to finish at the Jarvis Sprint Reverse banner.
Yeah, but overall, it looks like a nice variation of courses. Some harder ones, some maybe flatter ones, but yeah, it's HWR, so those are going to be interesting as well because, like Steve mentioned, if you don't have a really at the start a really definitive split, it's going to be hard for the us lower ranked peeps trying to see, can I hang on? How long should I hang on before for not blowing myself up? And yeah,
Yeah. None of the flat courses are really, really flat, right? So wandering flats, coast to coast, turf and surf are all the like flat routes,
Hmm.
but even those have almost as much climbing as like triple twist does.
yeah,
So yeah, will be interesting.
Yeah, there's also not a real climber, right? There's nothing with like a
Nope.
even a
The
7, 8, or 10, is there?
the ones that have the biggest amount of climbing are UCI Harrogate and Richmond Loop Around.
yeah,
Uh,
But those are chopped up. I mean, I think Petite Douleur is the longest single climb.
That's probably
yeah,
right.
yeah.
KOM.
Yeah.
For most people, it's around 8-10 minutes for us lower ranked people. So
does
doing it that.
London 8 do Box Hill? I think Box Hill's a little longer
Oh, I was
than
thinking that was
Petite
a flatter
KOM.
one. Yeah.
It does have Box Hill,
Okay. That's
so
probably
that
right.
might be the longest climb.
Her beginner racing's starting up a new series this week, is it? Or
No,
Well,
no,
her
they don't do it.
they don't do a
No,
series, do they? But we've
they
got a
don't
new
do
list of
it.
races, have we, from Nathan?
Yeah, it's the end of the month, so they're doing their like they done in the past. TikTok has their monthly end of the month series. Pens A to C's will probably it's one lap to around 30 minutes. D's and E's quicker times around 30-35 minutes. Slower watts around 40 minutes. And he also mentioned that for the beginners, that companion app recommends which pen you should be in based on your ZRS score. You can ride in a higher band score, but know that the competition is probably a little bit higher than you are. So yeah, I think for us folks, we all know TikTok. I think
It's basically flat with the only real rise being after the desert coming up to towards the start of Titans Grove, but then you're going to go right. You're not going to go into Titans Grove. You're going to hang left to go back down to the underwater tunnels. So yeah, it's pretty flat.
yeah, and then that's out of water combo out of the water tunnels with a little riser into the desert. Not really, as we discussed many times before, not really points where you can break your way potentially, but can get dropped. So yeah,
Very good. All right. And then for other series, you may see Stampede or Bullseye events populate up, even Mountain Goats populate up, but these are probably not going to be scored on Zwift Power or tracked for any other part of a series. So you can do them for fun, but that's about it. Climber's
yeah.
Gambit, Steph, you're going to track times or
I set it up for because it's yeah. Otherwise, it would be like last week, 17-kilometer scratch race on Decadash. I haven't changed the routes, but I populated in Swift Power with the slowest time. So you can do it for to see your fastest, slowest, or do a 3 by X amount of time workout from it. But yeah, there's no keeping track of the. I'm not gonna keep track of the results. Just people want to do it. But
and
I'm
stay
doing
tuned
it.
for
I'm doing HBR this week, so
all right. And stay tuned for more news on that stuff. We're just in a bit of
yeah,
an interregnum between things right now, between Omnium and what the next thing is. So there will be more herd racing events coming. Just stay tuned.
Yeah.
Which I think leads us into the news. Steve, you wanted to talk about a new piece of hardware?
Yeah, I was going to talk some silly things first, and then actually some quite interesting things. So, my Whoosh have launched a Japan World with a Mount Fuji route. Are you watching Zwift? Which is quite entertaining. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
amazing to have a Japan-ish world that comes with Fuji right out of the box, huh?
I'm not sure I'd want. Isn't Fuji quite a long climb
Oh
though?
yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
not sure I'd really want that in game, so careful what you wish for. Interestingly, I think Brent, you shared this with me. I get served stuff by Neil deGrasse Tyson, the famous man of science, and what I was served this week was the world's first smart bike handlebar,
Oh,
uh, which was a very random place to be
Yeah.
served that, but like it's called the Flight Deck. It's developed in Germany. I think it's got radar and cameras and sat nav built in.
Speed and power output, all
that
the
thing
stuff
looks
you'd
like
kind
a someone about to get hit by a car. Like,
of.
I'm sorry, you can put all the like you think Chris Froome looking at the stems on his bike computer is bad? You're gonna give the average cyclist who like, listen, I'm not the best cyclist out there in the world either, but you're gonna like put out some guy who like really doesn't know what I guess maybe he's not spending $5,000 on a set of handlebars or whatever, or set of handlebars, but still, you're gonna give like an excuse to someone who's probably not super confident on his bike and maybe being in a group of people on the side of a road with cars,
Or
a video
troubleshooting, like
screen
that's
in
not
his
right. That's a tap, 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 tap.
with like a
Somebody's
video
gonna
screen
yeah,
in his
somebody's gonna hack it to put
handlebars.
YouTube on there.
Like, I don't even think
I, I
people
can
should be riding with headphones in.
I can see it happen because I have from what I do, I have like a canal where I ride on a towpath. Somebody's gonna get straight in veer to the right and fall into the canal because
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
God.
there's a reason for that canals they have. I know from the fact they have like roads ending on that canal, and they have put like barriers at that intersection for cars not to drive into it. So
What they're actually going to do, Sean, is they're going to find a way to install Zwift on it, and somebody is going to be riding outside on their bike, but connecting Zwift to their power meter, so they're actually getting their Zwift XP or whatever
Yeah.
in while they're riding outside at the same time. I guarantee, like the number of people I see that are like, "Oh yeah, I'm on Zwift while I'm watching a movie," and I'm like, Okay, well you too. I mean, but like Zwift, the point is you can look at the Zwift. That's the whole point of distracting you from the trainer. Like if you just want to pedal on and watch a movie.
Oh, dear.
Same
And then
difference, right?
the last one I was going to mention was this elite trainer, and I chucked it in the chat as a like, this looks ugly. Basically, it's square, it's horrific, it's really funny looking. But then I actually like read a bit about it, and once you can get past how fantastically ugly it looks, it's got some really incredible features on it. So, it's the same company makes the water bottles and the indoor trainers, but supposedly they've been working on it for 2 years, and it's going to be massively adjustable, so it can have a range of like height. I think something like 158 to 195 centimeters, so which is really adjustable for an indoor trainer. Simulate different gears, so Campag, Shimano, or SRAM can do a range of different crank lengths and isn't going to have a chain. It's a belt drive. So like it's got a load of the stuff we were talking about, like when we were saying, oh, if we could hack together a trainer with the Zwift ride, this is what it would look like.
It turns out we designed a really ugly
Yeah,
bike.
yeah. Elite listened to us and designed this. So actually, I think this is going to be. I think it's got the potential to be one of the better. Like if you're going to buy a a training bike rather than buy a frame and stick it on a smart trainer, I think this is going to be one of the better options that's out there because it's super adjustable. Like you're going to be able to dial it right in, and actually kind of could be quite adjustable, and like you could dial in for what you want outside as well. So if you're like, oh, I don't know if I like this crank length might suit me a bit better, you can have a play around with it. So
yeah.
having chucked it in the chat, so like this is ugly, isn't it funny? It's actually looking like a pretty cool piece of hardware. So yeah, go check it out if you're interested in that kind of thing. Elite's new training bike.
And it is
And I'm
called
not,
the Square.
didn't this come out a while ago as a trainer that you could put on there? or as a frame that you could put on their trainer.
I
And
think
now it's
so,
just
yeah.
an integrated bike with a belt drive. That's the innovation. I mean, a belt drive is,
Hmm.
yeah, that's
So
great.
Yeah,
from a tech perspective, I didn't understand the belt drive. So is it like you're gonna have to get a separate free hub to install? Like if I want to put this on a kicker core or
Mm.
something, I've got to like buy a specific free hub that works with the belt drive. Am I
Or
understanding
is
that
this
part
a
right?
whole bike? I thought this was like
isn't it
an
like a
innovation
one
in the
bike that
previous
has
iteration.
basically the free app installed? Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but
I had the impression that it was like just the bike bit that you could put on any trainer, but maybe I misunderstood.
No, I think that's right. I think that you can buy it with an elite trainer,
Yeah, yeah.
but um,
Yeah, I
So
can't
they
work
must
out from the
sell.
pictures because it looks like the belt almost drives a cassette attachment
it does
that
look like
you
that, doesn't it?
Oh,
attach onto a trainer. So, trying to find words like you'd normally take the like rings off your cassette and you'd be left with the hub. It looks like it's something that will connect onto a hub, and that's how you'd connect your elite trainer onto your elite bike onto any trainer. Um,
oh,
so
so it takes the place of like the cassette basically.
yeah, yeah, and the
Like
belt
it,
just
it's
drives.
it's basically their version of whatever I have on my Zwift ride, the Zwift cog, with basically something you can put, yeah, either for like a chain, but with there you can put off on your belt on top of that. Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
and
So I
belt.
think it's like you don't mount the belt to anything. You actually mount. It's more like kind of you can take your cassette off your bike and put it
Yeah,
onto your trainer. It's more like kind of you just attach
yeah,
the wave my hands around like which is great for an audio show, isn't it? But like you can
yeah,
attach that directly on. So
yeah. But yeah, having a belt train, I haven't used that many belt drives, but yeah, in terms of maintenance, it's much better than having a chain and your cassette and a regular cassette. It's less maintenance, so yeah, for
Quieter.
people, also quieter.
yeah, all the adjustability stuff sounded really good. I'll say like the one thing that
Uh,
surprised me a little bit was the like it's got these built-in controls, but it isn't clear how those are going to integrate from Zwift. It was a bit vague
Yeah.
about all that. And
Yeah.
the where they sit would greatly interfere with the attachment of a set of Zwift plays. Like they basically sit exactly where you'd strap on your Zwift plays. So I was a bit like, I like this idea, but
Mhm.
am I gonna abandon my Zwift plays or any alternative? Like the Zwift Ride basically has it, am I gonna buy like Zwift Ride handlebars I have to attach to my elite trainer bike
Mm.
so that I can use the Zwift controls? Like that was all a bit question
yeah,
mark for me. Like it sounds cool.
Yeah.
I love that like you can, I mean, I just use Shimano, which is probably, I don't know what the market penetration of Shimano is, probably like 75%. Sorry, Sean, with your campies. So, but I respect if I use SRAMs or campies, I want to make my changing gears feel like my SRAMs or campies. But I was a bit like, I really would have a hard time justifying buying these and then not being able to put my Zwift plays anywhere good. But
I think it's super customizable, and I think if you were like not riding at the same time as somebody else in the house and you're different sizes and you just want to adjust stuff quickly, like this this seems like one of the better solutions that's out there.
yeah,
Particularly if me and Sean were to live together, like Sean is particularly tall and I'm a short ass, so there's no way we'd just be jumping on the trainer after each other to ride. So
Yeah, it does look like, like a spin bike at a gym where it's got all the you just know where you set your things up and you slide the things forward and slide everything around and you're set.
well, and the adjustable crank length engineering
yeah,
seems like a particularly slick solution, I gotta say. I was pretty
yeah.
jazzed about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was about to say because segueing off now the Swift rides. I've been riding it for about 3 weeks, which is going great at the moment. Sort of some pairing issues, but yeah, it the Swift ride does everything that has great customizability except for the fixed crank length. So that's neat, but there you should yeah it's I think that's for the elite has that for going for it. So yeah,
Cool. All right. Around the horn this week. So if anyone reads Zwift Insider, which let's be honest, if you're listening to this podcast, there's probably a pretty good chance you did. There was an article this week about a Zwift wish list of not really important changes. There was some funny slash interesting suggestions on there, but in the sincerest form of flattery's imitation, we are each going to do our what we would have on our not really important change from Zwift. Well, let's go. Let's start hot right off the top. Steve, you know you want to go first.
Oh yeah, this was well. Firstly, I want to invite Peter who wrote the article. Like, he seems like perfect pink Tron material. Like, actually, completely pointless chat about Swift. But hats has long been a thing I want Swift to do. John got this straight away. We were chatting about this before the show as well. So we've all ridden team time trials. We all know the problem. We're all in the same kit. Like, unless you're with Lisa Jones, who owns all of the socks, like, you could never spot any of the riders and tell who they are. So you're trying to work out who, like, one John is, what avatar they are on screen. I've said you want 6 different color hats and then white and black. And as John said, well, you do it in the orders of the rainbow, don't you? Everyone knows the orders of the rainbow. Exactly. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo, and violet. You can't really, like, they're a bit too close. So probably you couldn't tell them apart. White and black, 8 different colors. You can do a team trial and trial. You've got different hats on. You know which order you go in. You can follow the colored hat. Really, really simple. Completely unimportant quality of life change. But I think massively important. Put colored hats in the game. James Bailey, sort it out.
I like listen. I love it. There should definitely just be like there should just be a Zwift hat option, and there's just a color slider or whatever a preset color, whatever. Either way, but I just do you really think that the challenge in a team time trial of people not riding out of order is people not knowing who's in front of them, or people just can't ride a team time trial?
Yeah, I think it might be the second one.
'Cause I'll be honest.
I think there's a lot of people who think they can ride a team trial that this would maybe help it lighten.
It would take away one excuse. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm the most perfect. I'm not going to say I've never overridden anyone, but I'm always sometimes surprised when I'm riding team time trials to be like, "You're supposed to be in six, and I'm riding second wheel. Why are you pushing on me?"
Yeah. And then
The
pushing
draft.
me into the wind, pushing me off course. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Let's John. Why don't you go next?
Yeah, I don't know if I have any that would be at all even mildly useful for racing, but it's more on the goofy end of the spectrum. Uh, and I think it came up because they tested the big wheel bike, which I just love. And evidently there's a Tron version of the big wheel bike. So if we could put everybody and it'd be more group rides, I guess it could be races too, because we've done races where they neutralize all the bikes for the same bike, right? So let us ride goofy looking bikes as a without nerfing all of the character, the characteristics of it, just for a group ride. So we're
Goofy
all
one
on,
in the atomic
all on the
cruiser.
big wheel tricycles or all on the atomic cruiser. Yeah, there you go.
A double decker.
A
Or a
double deck
Frankenstein bike.
Portland tall bikes, right? Yeah, I mean we could
Get
come
some
up with
tall
all kinds
bikes,
of
get some
Penny farting.
velocipedes.
velocipedes. Yeah, if we could put the
Penny farting.
dinosaur costumes on every once in a while just for fun. Yeah.
I'm disappointed, John, because I genuinely thought you'd go for the mushroom power up, which gave you a small speed boost, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
from Mario Kart days.
I did hear somebody talking about like a legitimate wish list. It was like Nathan Guerre or something that there could be some team aspect of it where if you had some capability like a power up, you could give it to one of your teammates. And I thought, well, that could be, quickly abused. Like you all give one of your teammates a 20-watt power boost and they just shoot off into the sunset.
I mean, it's a game, right? Like
It's a
that.
game. Yeah.
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 All right. What do you got, Sean?
I've got a couple of things. I think one is like actually a serious thing that is a small change that I think they really need to make, which is uh actually recording the whole activity, right? So from the banner drop. So currently your activity only starts getting recorded like once you hit the start line. So you might go a few hundred meters, you might go 30, 40 seconds, and it has ruined a few times where I have done a like personal best 20-minute power. I've hit like 300 watts, and then I go on Zwift Power and it tells me I only did 291 watts for 20 minutes because 30 seconds where I was going really hard don't get counted. Um, but that part plus the like actually starting the race from the pens would potentially allow for one of the types of races that I've really wanted, which is the 1K time trial. Uh, so like actually having a kilo. And I think the last one is actually just like, and this I think is probably along the lines of where Brent's going to go. Uh, Actually being able to customize your bike a little more than just like you drag a slider for a color. Um, like the LA Sprint or whatever has so many cool like colorways that you could get the frame
Yeah.
in. They have one little thing that you can change one little color on. Uh, and like being able to change the color, the finish, the whatever, like actually customize your bike in an interesting way would be.
Yeah, mine was definitely just going to be like just all your avatar bike, everything should just be color slider. Like there should just be, you should be able to adjust just at least that. I mean, I get they can't maybe open it up to unlimited custom kits, although like I don't know, man. I played Animal Crossing and like we're talking, a t-shirt for a character that's like 40 pixels wide and you can infinitely customize those things and it runs the game and it runs on a Nintendo Switch, just probably about the average power output of the devices used for most people on Zwift, and you can't like customize your jersey and stuff. Anyway, so that was definitely going to be mine. What about you, Steph?
Yeah, I think color sliders is interesting because sometimes I have a color slider. I don't know which bike it is. There's a color slider, but you move it. I think one of the TT bikes, but it doesn't really change anything. I don't think so. It's a
Just
bit
changes
weird
the
to
head
have.
tube at the front or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, no, but yeah, visually, yeah, and I think yeah, sometimes making it goofy, like uh, I probably can do it with my Swift ride controls, but yeah, having things like the big hat mode from the Konami code or some goofy things like that like we said, it's we race a lot, but sometimes we do group rides have goofy things like yeah. The reference like Mario Kart of stupid power ups, have banana peels or whatever, or whatever in game to have like goofy races or wacky races or something like that. So where everything goes.
If we're gonna steal stuff from other games, we might as well add like if you win a race, like you get to do a fatality on one of the on whoever came in second. Like reach in, rip their heart out.
Oh, so this one might take a little more I mean, listen, this is never going to happen on Zone. Let's be clear. But for those who are unaware, there's a video game called Mortal Kombat, and
Yeah.
the way if you win a match, it's like a fighting game where you beat the other person up, and then if you win a match, you can enter like a certain combination of button presses and stick directions, and it allows the character. I mean, it used to be like quite complex. I think now it's pretty much like press X for fatality now, and you can
Mm.
do these like just preposterous, over the top things. Like literally the one is like you punch the guy in the thing, you pull his entire skull and spine out of his body and like slam it down. It's wild stuff. So I just imagine like I'm actually imagining like remember the one where the guy like used his bike and he like hit the guy with it and then he jumped on it? Like that's what I'm imagining. Like you get
There you
across
go.
the finish line and you take your bike and beat the other guy.
God, it just shows the dark place you Americans are in at the moment.
I was gonna say I'm going the other end of the spectrum. I think in Fortnite you can do like a victory dance.
Yeah,
So
that's
Yeah.
actually
Whoa.
what I was.
instead of the
Yeah,
end,
that was
you could do
about
it
to
in the
be.
pen though. Like if you could do that in the pen, like people wouldn't show up until like 10 seconds before, right? Like because people just hate the dancing.
I
Oh,
already
but
have the
I'd want
sound
the
on.
colorways to be hex codes as well, just because I'm
Yeah,
like,
Mm,
yeah,
I want my
yeah,
pink
indeed.
trunk to be FF00FF pink. Like I
yeah.
don't want anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah, I was about to say, indeed, having that hexagon go where you can choose basically any color you want, and indeed, it for funds, like you have that essentially what you have now in Tour de Zwift when you cross the line, you have that forward view of your riding crossing the line. Would be cool if you won a race
Yeah.
or I think that's when your avatar crosses the line first, do some kind of victory dance and have that front view camera seeing your guy pose up and take the wins.
Yeah, I
Would be
do.
fun.
So that was in the comments. One of the things that I liked in the comments was being able to buy with drops. Like in the drop shop, you get animations that you can like. I'm gonna get the like Contador pistol finish line celebration so that when I cross the line, if I'm winning, even if I'm not, who cares? I come across the
Right.
line,
That would be good.
start doing the
Yeah.
Contador pistols.
I yeah, the like is it not like a like in the Olympics did they not have when they would win they'd like go across the line and they'd hold the bike up? Am I imagining this? They'd do like
Yeah.
that. They'd have that iconic
It,
shot from like across like behind the Eiffel Tower
Pull
Yeah.
and
up a
Yeah.
pull up a wheelie like as you
oh
cross the
yeah.
line. What like any of these would be
yeah,
really fun.
yeah. People do it in the bike races. They're miles ahead that they tend to do sometimes for the victory. So it's just fun in front of the line and just raise a bike in the air because they have the time to do it. So,
Tom Pidcock in the like CX World Championships doing the like Superman on his bike like on
yeah,
the seat like
yeah,
it'd be
Allison
fun.
Jackson, I want to rock dance.
Yeah.
I want to rock. That was my that was my all-time
yeah.
favorite.
Peter Sagan had it's a plethora of victories. So it's like the Hulk or whatever, inspired by things.
Uh, I think this is the winner. This is my new favorite one. Is like, yeah, custom finish emotes. Like
Yeah.
I'd also want one that's like literally just falls off bike, like tired falls off bike.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Even if, like Sean said, even if you don't win, you can have that front end scream and just if you want to do an animation, let it
Yeah,
work
and
out.
then you would need to not make everyone immediately exit out of the event so that like as the next person is riding up, like they see the person who has just finished the race and has fallen off their bike.
Right. And then right. It's the Tour de France crash, right? It's like, is everybody else going to fall off their bike there? Or you're gonna have to, is Zwift going to shove you way out around them? Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
So that's all good fun stuff. Yeah, let's try and remember Zwift is a game. And I think speaking of finish lines, we're gonna call this one at the finish line for this afternoon. So we'll say thank you to Steve Pritchard, thank you to John Keenan, thank you to Steph Etchen, thank you to Sean Fogenberg, thank you to everybody listening at home, thank you to everybody doing herd racing. Enjoy herd winter racing on Outer Scotland this weekend, everybody. Moo and good night.